Welcome back to the Chroncast. I'm your host, Alex Brickman, editor and head writer at Canucks Chronicles and club reporter at Altitude FC. Joining me is Kaja Antek. Kaja, how are we doing today?
I'm doing okay, Alex. How are you?
Yeah, so the Canucks played a hockey game last night at time of recording, sort of, against the Vegas Golden Knights, losing 3-2 on home ice. Kaja, thoughts on the game?
Well, it's over. It's never been so over. But also, I know you're on a back-to-back, but so were they, and they had to travel from Calgary, and you only put 2 shots on in the third. Kevin Lankinen deserves, a sword. Anyway, yeah, that's my thoughts.
Yeah, no, that one just felt rough. This is a game where it felt over going into the game anyway, but there was at least, a sliver of hope that they could maybe have put something together to get the season on track and sneak into the playoffs. This feels like just the nail in the coffin. I don't see a way through this. I think it would basically require winning out and a lot of luck on the part of the Minnesota Wild basically losing out, which just... It could technically happen, but, come on.
It's, it relies on the hockey gods, and they've never been kind to Vancouver, so I think we're hooped. But Niels Höglander had a great game, though.
Yeah.
His first game back from injury, gets the first goal for the Canucks.
Yeah. No, definitely liked the effort level I saw from him all over the game. We talked about this last night on Game Over Vancouver. Go check out their show if you haven't yet. But he looked good. Ratu looked good. A lot of the young guys looked good. One thing I've wondered about, I only actually noticed this after the game, was that they benched Lekkerimäki in order to make room for Höglander, and I'm kind of confused about that because he's been playing well. He's been making the power play look a lot better when he plays on that flank, so I'm not sure what went into that decision.
Yeah, I am now also just realizing that. Maybe, I know it's a back-to-back, but I don't understand why you would rest a younger guy anyway. Maybe that's why the power play didn't really do... there were 2 power plays, but, maybe that's why they didn't really do anything, because also Vegas' penalty kill has not been stellar.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I understand wanting to get Höglander in, but for... it's a tough decision. I'm not the coach.
Yeah.
I could be, but...
Yeah, it just feels like the power play looks so different when you have Garland on that flank versus Lekkerimäki. Garland, he's one of my favorite players on the team to watch, but, a shooter, he is not. When you have him on the flank, other teams do not have to respect the shot like they do when you have a guy like Lekkerimäki there who can just rip one. So it just feels flat.
Shoot, he does not. On the power play, he must not be.
Damn it.
Yeah.
We'll just focus on... stick with the Canucks before we move on to something a little different still within the hockey world. Home ice effort level has been an issue throughout this season, I believe. Whereas last season it felt like Rogers Arena was one of the toughest buildings for away teams to come into in the league. What do you think may have changed that's caused this? What looks different?
It's because the seats are red. No, I really don't know. I think it's just the complete aspect of this entire team just fell apart this year. I don't know if they just, hate being there. I also, how you said, it's the hardest arena to get to. I'm I would say our hardest arena to play, and I'm to get to, it's up there.
Yeah.
If you're driving, but I would say Ottawa is more difficult because it's one entrance in the middle of nowhere. Not sure where I'm going there, but I think it's just another symptom of the Canucks having a downright awful year compared to last year, which was so good. Yeah, I think it's just another thing that it's going to be, oh, well, this year went this way, and that's the result.
Yeah, no, it feels like just a few things went wrong at the start of the year and were just enough to completely tank everything, and we just haven't been able to recover from that whatsoever. I don't know. It just feels bleak at this point, and I don't know what to expect going forward from this team. But one thing is clear: next year, when you're playing at home, especially, you need some consistency.
Mm-hmm. Consistency is key.
Yeah.
But like also they need consistency across the board.
Oh,
like
totally.
how their longest win streak, which was mostly away games, was 5 games.
4 or 5, yeah.
Like 4 or 5. You need to pull something off better than that. Like wins are hard to come by, I get it, but also when you have losing streaks that seem to go on forever, come on, man. Like yeah, that's do better.
Yeah. And like last year, I think there was definitely a lot of luck on the injury front, for example. Like there weren't very many key injuries or anything that long term for a lot of guys, whereas this year it's been a lot rougher. A lot of key players have missed some time. But it just feels like at the end of the day, you play to win the game. You got to win some games here. You got to find a way to fight through the adversity and actually get something done. And it just feels like this year nothing has happened to allow them to do that, and it's just that's what's killed them.
Yeah, because last year they had very little adversity, and then this year they had all of the adversity, and they're like, "Yeah, I don't want all this adversity. Can you please return some?" It's like, no, I was trying to make the King Julian quote. Just a little sacrifice, okay? That's kind of what it felt like this year.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of little sacrifice, they made big sacrifice, and now they are big sacrifice out of playoffs.
Yeah.
Words.
We could also touch on a little bit on a less bleak note the game against the Ducks the night before or the day before.
Okay, can I just say, you said less bleak note. I know we got the win, but it's also the Anaheim Ducks.
I said less bleak, not totally not bleak.
Okay, fair. Because it's like, yeah, we were all like, oh, it's so back, but then you have to. It's like saying, oh, well, Shelov's had a couple good games. He had his couple wins, but it was against the Blackhawks. And I'm not saying that he did have some awful games. But he also had some pretty good games that didn't come out as wins because the Canucks can't score. Yeah, it's like, yes, you get the win, but also against the Anaheim Ducks, and almost blew the lead. Not completely, because they didn't score that many goals, but like there were a couple chances where it was potentially dangerous for them, and then they just managed to outscore their problems, get the fastest 5 goals in franchise history. Also, first time they score 5 goals in the first period, and also a Max Sasson breakaway, because that makes sense. GOAT. Anyway, it was a fun game to watch, especially after the Seattle game on Wednesday. 5-0 loss against, in the I-5-alry, if they still call it that, but yeah, it was a nice reminder that the team can score goals, but also I really wish that they had done this when it actually mattered against a team that it mattered against and not Anaheim.
Yeah, I saw a stat the other day which was showing the Canucks record against top teams in the league versus teams that are kind of outside of the playoff picture.
Mm-hmm.
Our record is significantly better against teams that are in the playoffs versus teams that are not. Which is just, I don't know how you even do that, but sure. So, like, on the one hand, it feels like this team was definitely capable of putting in performances like we saw against Anaheim throughout the season, but we just weren't. Mm-hmm. And this felt like one of those games where, especially when Anaheim made it 1-0 on the first shot of the game, I was just thinking, oh, this is going to be a long day.
Yep.
And then, lo and behold, the Canucks do, in fact, remember how to play hockey for the bulk of the 60 minutes of the game. Yeah. Having a few moments where it felt like they forgot, but Demko managed to keep them in things.
As usual.
It's nice that we can say as usual for that again, though, because he did have some rough play earlier in the year.
True.
And also, I would like to say, I just love seeing that DPD got his first NHL goal in this game. I'm so happy for him.
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot.
Yeah. Like, I love it when the guys are able to get their first goal like that, so just super excited for him.
And it was a game we actually won because I feel like there have been so many first NHL goals. Like I think Max Sasson's came in a loss.
Yep.
Jonathan Lekary-Mekki, his came in a loss. It's nice to see it be in a win.
Yeah. You can have like the nice memories of the game where you scored your first goal as opposed to it being like some garbage time goal to make it 5-1 against Boston.
Yeah. It wasn't this season fun? It was so fun. It was so fun. It was so great. It was so great.
Oh, God. I feel like this season has aged me a decade.
Well, hey, Rick Tocchet would want you on the fourth line anyway. You're a decade older.
Let's talk about some other news around the NHL, appropriate to the jersey you're wearing right now. Yesterday, at the time of recording, at least in the morning, Alex Ovechkin broke Wayne Gretzky's goal record, scoring his 895th goal in his career against the New York Islanders.
Mm-hmm.
Followed by a nice short 40-minute ceremony on the ice during the game.
Yeah, that that was you know what? I appreciate it. I understand the moment. It was cool. Apparently, I don't watch basketball. Apparently, they did the same thing for LeBron when he did records. So it makes sense. But also, I just thought it was hilarious. Like, you're not even halfway through the second right now, and you're rolling out a carpet, and you're bringing down his mom, and, like, his wife and kids, and Gary Bettman's out there. The owner of the Caps is there. Wayne Gretzky says that, Ovi should get a Rolls Royce. Like, there's so much going on. And, yeah, that was an interesting thing to witness.
Yeah.
Just like him scoring that and then celebrating and then waiting another half hour or so to see the game recommence, and that being the only goal that the Capitals scored.
There was something kind of hilarious about them stopping the game to have a ceremony on the ice while your team is losing.
Yeah, like
to the New York Islanders.
Yeah, was it Nux memes that said a bit weird of them to stop the play just because the Caps cut the lead in half? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it kind of felt like. And then they go on to, like, lose 5-1, I believe? 4-1, 5-1? 4-1.
Yeah.
I watched the game, I should know this. But, yeah, Bo Horvat getting the first goal in the game that Ovechkin gets the record on. It's against Ilya Sorokin, who he had never scored on. And also Mark Gatcombe, Abbotsford Canucks legend, gets 2 goals in the game that Ovi breaks the record. It's just so insane on so many levels. Yeah. I just think it's so much funnier that the Islanders, like, got the blowout kind of win. And then there's also a really funny video of Bo Horvat. Like, they're asking him, how many goals is Ovi going to score this year? And when is he going to break the record? And he's like, either this year or next year. I just hope he doesn't score against the Islanders. So, you know what? Good job, Bo.
Bo tempted fate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like, just speaking to the ceremony like that, the only time I've seen something like that myself is at a CFL game. When, I forget if it was the record for all-time receptions or receiving yards, but G. Roy Simon broke it for the BC Lions, and again, they stopped the game to do a ceremony after he made that catch.
Okay, but here's the thing.
The CFL, I love the CFL, I just want to say that. It is a very unserious league.
I was about to say, I'm like, at least in, like, football, like, that kind of football, there's a lot of stoppages.
Yeah.
Same thing with baseball. So if they did that in those sports, it would be fine.
Yeah.
But if you stopped a game... Imagine when Christine Sinclair scored her 190th goal and they stopped the entire game. Imagine, like, if Lionel Messi scored the 50th goal in Miami history because they've only been around for, like, 3 years. Like, imagine if that happened, they stop the game.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous. So, like, with hockey being so fast-paced, I feel like that also created a disadvantage for the Capitals, I'm not gonna lie, because they had all that momentum from the power play goal from Ovi, and then it was just gone because they had to wait half an hour. That is longer than an intermission. They had like 2 intermissions basically in the middle of a period.
Yeah, and like, so when we were watching the game against, why has my mind gone blank? He tied the record against the Blackhawks?
Yep.
Yeah, they were talking about during the game how they had a ceremony planned for post-game if he was to break the record that day.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of assumed in my brain that if he breaks it, they'll also do the ceremony post-game, not stop the clock, pause the game for 30 minutes during play.
Yeah.
And do it then and there.
I don't know if they did the same thing kind of when Gretzky got the record, because I wasn't alive then. I just saw video of it, and I saw all the Kings like storm the ice after he gets it. Mm-hmm. But again, that was like 30 odd years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think it would be really funny if they continue the bit so every goal he scores now, they do that, because technically every goal is a record breaker. So I think the Canucks should do that when Quinn Hughes gets the most career points by a defenseman. Does not matter where they are. It's going to be against, like, when do they it's going to be against Colorado, and they're going to interrupt a game in Colorado. In Denver, just to be like, Quinn Hughes, we're going to get you a, I don't know, Volkswagen Golf. Like,
bring Alex Edler down.
Bring Alex Edler down. They're going to pass the torch in Ball Arena. And they're going to put the camera on Cale Makar, because of course they will. And he's just going to be sitting there, and he's going to have the same, like, expression that Connor Bedard did when he was shaking hands with Ovi. Just unfazed. Anyway. I can't wait for, what would be the funniest answer here? I can't wait for Phil DiGiuseppe to break the goal record. He's on a tear at Abbotsford. Phil DiGiuseppe. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Oh God.
It's gonna happen.
Mark Michaelis to return to the NHL to break the goal record.
Jaromir Jagr comes back just to do it. He's like 53.
Isn't he actually retiring this time?
He says that every year.
That's a good point. Why do I keep believing him? I've also seen you added this to the notes for this episode. I was unaware of this. Why was Cody Rhodes in the video?
Yeah, so they did a video. They did a video with like a bunch of athletes and stuff like that, congratulating Ovechkin. Mm-hmm. They had like LeBron's in there, Michael Jordan, Michael Phelps, Simone Biles, PK Subban for some reason. He's just kind of there. But they had a lot of, like, Steve Carell's in it, Snoop Dogg's in it.
What?
Like, I know. Yeah, honestly, the best thing the Los Angeles Kings have going for them is their branding, because somehow they get a bunch of celebrities to care about their team. Including former One Direction member Niall Horan, and when Niall Horan posted that he posted like "Go Kings Go" at a Kings game against the Avalanche, and then Andre Burakovsky, who was playing, actually he might have been for the Avalanche, he might have been for the Capitals at the time. Anyway, he went unfollowed Niall Horan after that, because he had followed all the former members of One Direction. Just a little fun fact. Anyway, WWE Undisputed World Champion right now, I hope I said the title right. Cody Rhodes was also in it, and I am like, that is the weirdest crossover, but also he had the best camera quality out of all of them. I'm like, okay, so they used the WWE cameras for this. All right, Triple H, I see you. But yeah, I was like, why is Cody Rhodes on my TV screen? It is not Friday night, like, or it's not Monday night. Yeah, I was a little confused. Like, I get it, but also, like, imagine having that, because it was just so, again, American focused. But yeah, it was a funny thing.
Okay, I gotta go watch this video now just to see what's up, because that sounds, so you had, like, I'm just make sure I heard this right. like Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Simone Biles, all these people, and then also Steve Carell and Snoop.
Yeah, and like Ovi's like wife and his
Okay.
kids and his mom.
That makes
And
sense.
then it would just cut to some other celebrity. Like it was wild. I think Fedorov was also in it. Maybe I might be wrong here. Ovechkin
Fedorov would make sense, I think. Like...
congrats video. Yeah. Okay. Quinn Hughes has a video, and it looks like he's being held at gunpoint.
He looks like that often.
True. Okay. I just got jump scared by how loud my headphones were. Oh my lord. Oh, that means I edited a video this morning that was going to be way too loud, so apologies to my prof in advance. Because that is... Oh, and it's like distorted as hell, the audio as well, because it's from a digital camera from 2007. So, yeah, where is the congratulations video? I need to find it. Video tribute. Okay. Going to put this on 2 times. Playback speed. Okay. That's his mom. Okay. I feel like this is not that's just the one with the people. That's not like the celebrity one. Where is the celebrity one? It's one with his family. I need the one with the celebrities. Celebrity. Full star-studded video of celebrities. Okay. Yeah, it's Michael Phelps.
Yep.
Mark Messier. Simone Biles.
Yep.
Sidney Crosby.
Okay, that's nice.
Derek Jeter.
I'm a Yankees fan. I support that.
Yeah, Steve Carell. Roger Federer.
Okay.
Snoop Dogg. Michael Jordan, who's obviously reading off a script. Yeah, then Cody Rhodes. This lead singer of Train, Pat Monahan. Dave Coulier. Jeremy Roenick. Vince Vaughn. I forgot about that one. Elena Delle Donne. Jaden Daniels. Doc Emmerich. Marie-Philippe Poulin. Buster Posey. Martin Brodeur. Ryan Zimmerman. Hillary Knight. Pat Sajak. Who has a Caps hat? Sergei Fedorov.
Yep.
Katie Ledecky. Danny DeVito! I forgot about him. PK Subban. Scott Van Pelt. I'll meet you in the fountain. It's LeBron James. And then Michael Phelps again. To say 1,000 goals is a possibility.
Quick note there. When you said Jaden Daniels, for a second I got really confused because I managed to mix up Washington Commanders quarterback Jaden Daniels with Vancouver Whitecaps winger Jaden Nelson. And I was thinking, really, like, listen, Jaden's been great so far this season. What is a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas?
Yep. That's fair. The other night, somebody messaged something about, like, they said caps and they meant capitals. Yep. And my first thought was, oh, well, it's a Caps game this weekend. And I was just like, oh yeah, why is the Rapids game so important? Like, I'm surprised they didn't have Messi in it.
Yeah.
But maybe Don Garber just thinks all hockey is Canadian, so he didn't want to associate with that. Anyway, yeah, it was an interesting... Why is Danny DeVito there? I love Danny DeVito. Why?
I fully support his presence there, but...
Yeah. Also, like, I understand having Cody Rhodes there, but, like, there are so many Canadian wrestlers. There is also wrestlers that follow hockey, like CM Punk is, like, constantly wearing hockey-related gear. Yep. I mean, maybe he's bitter because Ovi tied the record against Chicago. So
That's...
I don't know. Love CM Punk though. Like Kevin Owens, I know is injured, but like still, like Sammy's like there were Canadians.
I suppose if you're injured,
Chelsea
you can
Green.
still be in a video.
Yeah, exactly. Like Elias Pettersson went, the elder went and like met the Canucks for Kids, like star of the game,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
last night. They posted a picture of that, and I was like, oh, that's nice. But he was like in training gear, so I was like, okay.
This is gonna show how much I know about WWE. Is Bret Hart still alive?
Yes, but he's retired.
Yeah. Like, I don't know if you want a Canadian.
Oh yeah, Bret Hart.
Canadian, yeah.
Like, I was like,
That's why.
I was like,
no, I'm not just asking about him. Just
I was like, oh yeah, Bret Hart. He could have been like I'm pretty sure he does like a reality show now for them, like training new wrestlers. I think he's part of like one of those training shows. It's on like A&E, so I can't watch it because like it doesn't have that here. I think, but yeah, I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, and he's Canadian.
Yeah, interesting choices.
Yeah,
interesting choices. Well, yeah, I'm questioning who the NHL got for the WWE representative over, the guy who has like the biggest title at the moment. But he also has a giant like American flag tattoo on his neck, which was supposed to be smaller apparently. I thought it was fake, but it is very much so real. Look up Cody Rhodes' tattoo after this.
I will do that.
Yeah.
So, also, we briefly touched on the Whitecaps game against the Rapids, and I noticed something outside of that game, which you have also got written down on our notes doc. Eddie Lack has a billboard in downtown Vancouver.
I was walking away. So, the Canadian women's national team held a friendly match against Argentina at BC Place on Friday night. And we're walking away, my friend and I, from the stadium, and we're on like Expo Boulevard, like about to walk down past the Costco and stuff, right? And I turn, like I look over my shoulder and I see the billboard and it's Eddie Lack on there. I was like, I literally yelled, "Oh my god, it's Eddie Lack." And she thought I meant the dude. No, I was just talking about the billboard. Like I was just like, why? I can't believe he did it. And I was talking about Eddie Lack for quite a while on the walk back to the car. But yeah, Eddie Lack has a billboard in downtown Vancouver. Honestly, that is probably the better thing he's done at BC Place. No disrespect to Eddie Lack, but...
We love Eddie Lack here.
We love Eddie Lack, yeah.
I was at that game.
Oh, God. I have a scarf that I thrifted from that game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, that was just like one of those things where you see it, and I had heard about this somewhere in the back of my mind, but I just had like kind of forgotten about it. I look up, and I actually could only see the bottom half of the billboard because there was like the viaduct blocking half of my view. But I could just read Eddie Lack Real Estate or something along those lines, and just went, "Oh my god, it's real."
No, I just saw it. I turned and I saw his face, and I'm just like, "That's Eddie Lack. He has returned. The king has returned."
Yeah.
Yeah, he has risen. Sorry. Anyway, I'm just committing more blasphemy. It's fine. Yeah, that was a time. I also realized it probably echoed because that part of Expo Boulevard is kind of covered. So apologies to anyone who thought Eddie Lack was in Vancouver around 9 p.m. on Friday night. He was not.
And I think that more or less wraps up Canucks topic. Just quickly gonna send some well wishes to Niels Oman. Injured at practice at UBC, was seen, I believe, walking around with a sling the other day. I may have misremembered that, to be honest, and just claimed a man was in a sling who's not.
I heard that too.
Okay, cool.
So, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Hopefully he's okay.
Yeah.
Because that would suck. Because he's been in and out of the lineup a bit, but He's pretty young, and he's pretty like useful as like a
Yeah.
plug and play guy. So
Like, he's a good guy to just throw in on the fourth line. We need a bit of help. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know what? We only have like 5 games left, and that's it. So
Yeah.
go get on the green, buddy.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Breaking news,
so
NHL
quickly,
fans. Breaking news.
yes, before we move into other things, I have just been made aware that Budweiser sent celebratory beer cans to every goalie who has played against Alex Ovechkin and faced shots but not been scored on. And we do have a few Canucks legends to mention on this list. Having faced 14 shots against Kevin Lankinen and given up 0 goals is Kevin Lankinen.
Against Kevin Lankinen? I was
It's been a long couple
That's
days.
a feat.
Having faced 2, we have Colin Delia.
Goat. He can read.
And also having faced 2, a guy you would mainly know as a teammate of Alex Ovechkin's, Braden Holtby.
Turtle guitar legend.
Greatest mask in Canucks history.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful.
That one was sick.
Yeah.
From that, I think we are ready to move into other sports. Let's start with talking about the Japanese Grand Prix.
Yay! Boom! You can say you're leading the championship.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't care about the second one.
Neither do I, and we won it last year.
Okay, good for you. You need to pay both your drivers anyway in order to prioritize one, so. Sorry, that. Oh, they.
What?
Yeah, well, if Oscar had the speed to catch Max. Why am I arguing against my driver? If Oscar had the speed to catch Max, why do they keep Lando in front of him? He said this multiple times. That is the most confrontational I have ever seen Oscar Piastri.
So here's the thing.
You're gonna say the tire thing.
What?
Well, okay, never mind.
No, I was gonna say, I was watching the race at a bar, and I didn't really have that much attention on the race. So I have, like, no idea what was really going on in terms of, like, radios or strategy.
Okay, strategy, mainly one-stops. Alex Albon was not happy on his radio. If you get a chance, listen to it, because he's just complaining the entire time. And I love Alex Albon. He was asked about, his radio in, like, the post-race media, and he just went, like, he was like, oh, right, you guys can hear that. Yeah. But no, like, Oscar went on the radio multiple times because he was trailing Lando. He's like, I have the speed to catch Max. I think I have the speed to catch Max. While Lando's like, I think Lando at one point said, do we swap positions? Or something like that. Something happened with that. And I'm like, first of all, damn. Second, McLaren, I understand, like, you'd still be getting the same championship points, like, in the World Constructors Championship, but, like, I get it, Lando's leading the Drivers' Championship, you're also 3 races in, so, I don't know, multi-21, Lando.
I'm wondering if this is just me spitballing totally. If it's based off of last year, there was that one race where they ended up prioritizing Oscar, even though Lando had the lead, and they ended up basically... This was the one that turned into Oscar's first win. I believe it was Hungary.
Yeah.
Where Lando was in the lead, they made him give up the position to Oscar for reasons that I still don't quite understand.
Because they wanted Oscar... They wanted to... Because at that point, Lando didn't have a second win already. He had only the one win, so it's like, you need the team, you need Oscar, and they're basically gentle parenting a grown-ass man into giving up a position, which I understand, but also it was McLaren's strategy that messed that up because they pitted Oscar first.
Yeah, and also, like, Lando at that point did still, I think, have a shot. He was, like, in contention for the driver still. He had, like, an outside chance still, at least. Would you not try to prioritize him a little more, even over giving someone their first win, who clearly has the talent to get a win on his own at some point here, and did later that season?
Yeah, I think, because I think Oscar was leading before they made that strategy called to pit him first.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I really think that was just McLaren fumbling the bag on that one.
No, definitely.
Which created a lot of, like, borderline unnecessary drama. This race, it's just kind of like the strategy call would be better if you have one car that you think has the pace and the other car says probably not. Maybe go with the car that has pace. Like you have a rocket ship either way, and Max Verstappen's driving a tractor, and instead of like trying to pass him, you drive directly into grass. Like, that was the most exciting part of the race. But also just wanted to point out, people were saying, oh, well, Liam Lawson qualified above Yuki Tsunoda. One place. They both got pushed up one place as well, because Carlos Sainz was penalized for impeding Lewis Hamilton in qualifying. And then he also got fined $20,000 because he went to the washroom and was late for the national anthem. Yeah. Actually, 20,000 euros probably, but still, quite a lot of money for pulling a Luongo. It's what he did. Apparently the max, like the normal amount for that is 60,000, which is insane to think about. Yeah. Luckily these guys are like tax evading millionaires, so it's fine. But I don't know why I said luckily there, but luckily for them.
Luckily for them.
Exactly. Yeah. What was I talking about? Yuki qualified behind Liam. Liam, he still got a higher place than most of his other like races this year. Yuki finished 12th from 14th. Liam finished 17th from 13th. In a Racing Bulls that Isaac Hadjar, with a seatbelt that was cutting off circulation to certain parts of his body, he got in the points. So, I don't know. I really wanted Yuki to have a good race because, like, I'm a Yuki fan, and also, like, he knows Suzuka very well. He did very well last year there. But I think he's also just learning how the car works, because he really only tested in a Red Bull at the end of last season, and that wasn't really the same car. And they also were running two different plans with like more downforce on one car, less downforce on the other for Red Bull. The livery is great. Max Verstappen is wild. And also so is Lando Norris, for trying to blame him for putting him in the grass when he just drove straight. Like, bro, that's like when you're trying to merge on the highway and no one's letting you merge, but that's just because you're going so slow, and also you don't have your blinker on, and also you're not even turning in the way. You're just kind of going straight. There's a lot of slow merge lanes around here. Anyway, I have a lot of thoughts on this race. For a race that not a lot happened, but at the same time a lot did happen. I'm excited for this weekend. It's Bahrain. We'll see if Red Bull can keep up the pace. Hopefully Yuki gets points in a Red Bull. And also, Alpine, you massively screwed up, and you are treating Jack Doohan so horribly. Yeah, he's obviously injured after a big crash in free practice. Esteban Ocon had to help him out of the car. You know, the guy that you dropped with one race remaining this season, and I get it, that was to let him go to Haas earlier, but still, it's... I have a lot of thoughts.
Yeah. So it does seem as if Franco Colapinto is going to end up with that Alpine seat sooner or later, too. Just like, as an organization, how are you treating your people like this?
It's like Vegas.
Yeah.
Coincidentally, also where Colapinto cost so much money. Like, people say, oh yeah, well, Colapinto was a better driver. He actually cost Williams more. I don't know about more than Albon, but he cost them more than Sargent. He crashed more than Sargent. And yet you're like, oh, Logan Sargent doesn't deserve a seat because Franco Colapinto got into the points at one point, but then also crashed so many times. Like, Logan Sargent was just slow. Franco Colapinto is just not... I don't want to say unsafe, but, like, you get what I mean. He's not cautious with the car. In a sense.
He's very high risk, high reward.
Yes. Yeah.
And when you're going at, 300 kilometers an hour...
kind of don't want that.
A lot of risk.
And I get... Yeah. I was about to say, I get Williams has more money now, but no, he'd be going in Alpine. So, and there was a like him and Paul Aaron, their other reserve driver, were testing. Of course, they only report that Colapinto was testing because of all the drama and the engagement that he would get. But still, I don't know. Jack Doohan deserves better than this. Alpine's been treating him horribly since putting him in. What is the thing with Alpine and Australian reserve drivers that they just hate?
Alpine in general just feel like they're the best team at burning bridges with anyone who has ever worked for them.
Yeah, because like just over the last few years, like Esteban Ocon, Fernando Alonso, and Oscar Piastri, they had that driver lineup, and all of them like left in big drama.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some choices were made in that. Maybe because they're French. That's a joke. I'm sorry, Alpine. I don't know what their problem is. They should fix it. Yeah.
They should fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any more thoughts on the race, or should we move along?
I think I said too many thoughts about the race.
Let's talk about the Whitecaps. Let's start with the new stadium news. So the Whitecaps, if you haven't heard, are in talks with the city of Vancouver to build a stadium on the Peony Fairgrounds. We don't know too much about this yet. The assumption seems to be that it would be somewhere on the current side of the Hastings racecourse.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Kaja, what do we think?
I was thinking about that too, because like they announced that, and I was just like, well, okay, good. It's not like out somewhere in Langley, because that would be really hard for a lot of people to get to, and traffic in Langley already sucks. Anyway, the Peony Fairgrounds area I thought was interesting, because my two thoughts were, are they taking out the race course? Because I've never been there to the Hastings race course, because like I don't know, it just seems a little animal cruelty-ish to me with horse racing, but I don't know if they are having attendance issues or something like that. I hope they're not like demolishing a different structure that's on there, like the Peony Forum, or I don't think they would take down the Coliseum, but
I don't think so.
The Peony Forum, that was like the original Canucks arena, so I really like, for emotional reasons, do not want to see that happen. But with like the racetrack, I could understand them putting it there. There's also like all the fields now where like Empire Stadium was, or Empire Field, when BC Place was being renovated. So I could see them also put it there. If they build a new stadium, is it covered? It would likely be grass, probably, right? So you would hope, if they're doing all of this effort to, you would hope. It's just strategy-wise, and like the only other place I can think of is putting it is like a parking lot, which like I don't think they would ever do, because we are a car-centric society, so.
Yeah, and that actually kind of brings up like the one kind of issue I have with this. In general, I think this is a really good idea. The Caps arrangement at BC Place is really far from ideal, with the main exception to that being the location of BC Place is really convenient for transit.
Yeah.
The PNE, while not necessarily the worst in the world for transit, is far from the best. There's no SkyTrain line out there or anything. The bus service, I would assume, I would like to hope at least would be increased if you're putting a stadium there.
Yeah, they do have the R5, which is like the rapid bus that goes like every 10 minutes between Burrard Station and SFU. And it just goes straight down Hastings Street. I've taken it quite a few times, honestly. And like that could be an option. I would assume they would increase service for like game days and stuff like that, or like when there's events. I think it also hinges on the transit issue, because TransLink, if you haven't heard, is like facing some budgetary issues. There's like questions if their current projects that they're even working on now are going to be completed by the timelines they've set. Like there's the Broadway construction that's part of where the 49B line was. I don't really Vancouver, so I just kind of know it exists. And then there's also the Surrey Langley SkyTrain that is supposed to be completed in late 2028. And Fraser Highway already sucks because of that. So it'll be interesting to see if they are able to get like a SkyTrain like extension, like even for like a couple stations out there, like off of the Expo line or Millennium line. It would be cool. It would be better, I think, overall for the city because Playland, that is very hard to get to by transit if you're not taking buses. Like if you're taking the train, it sucks. And also for like the P&E events, and also probably for the World Cup because they're building a new like auditorium thing there for the World Cup. So I would assume they have a transit plan in place for that, and then they could build off of that for the stadium plans. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, like, so I recently found out that basically every bus in my area is under consideration to be cut.
Same.
Like, right now, I was checking this just out of interest. To get from my house to the P&E, I would need 3 buses.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Or, like, a 20 to 30 minute drive.
Yeah, it's, like... I get it's, like, an iconic area, but it's kind of... If you're not in Vancouver, or you're not in, like, Burnaby, it's hard to get to. Because, like...
Yeah.
If you're south of the Fraser, or even in Richmond, you have to cross, a bridge that is probably backed up.
Yep.
If you're in Coquitlam, you have to go around a mountain. Like, there's a lot of barriers in front. I understand there's quite a bit of area. I could see them. Yeah, I'm going to. Okay, Hastings. Okay, P&E amphitheater. Directions. Transit from here. For me, I'd have to take 2 buses and the train.
Yep.
2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It's a 40-minute drive. That's just because transit out where I am sucks. But, like, still, you need better... They would need to reevaluate some of the services as well. Because also, if they're building a whole stadium, I would imagine they also take out some parking or add it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I already don't like driving around that block, so...
No, I hate driving in Vancouver in general, but...
Oh, fair. Yeah, but just that one block, because there's always so many people, and it's so terrifying. Yeah. I don't know. I like the idea. I like that we'd get, like, a soccer-specific stadium.
Yep.
I'm just wary about the logistics of it all.
Yeah, like, I think at the end of the day, it is 100% better for the club getting a soccer-specific stadium, better facilities for the fans, better facilities for the players, hopefully grass instead of the BC Place turf monster.
Yeah.
Ideally not playing in a cave most of your games where the upper bowl is entirely empty and or tarped off.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, like, the other benefit is if you have a game where you're capable of selling seats into the upper bowl, it's not like they're bulldozing BC Place. It is still there. You could, in theory, go there for a special occasion if you have something going on.
Exactly.
So, like, I was talking to a friend about this, and the Montreal Alouettes used to play big games at Olympic Stadium in Montreal, whereas they just play the regular ones at McGill.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe something like that could work, where if you have high enough attendance for a playoff game or something, you could go to BC Place, although I don't know what MLS rules are like on that, or if we have another Miami game.
Yeah. I mean...
Shout out Trevor for the name there.
He's probably gonna be gone by then. Let's be real here.
Yeah,
but I understand
if like the next generation of
Lamine Yamal is going to come over here and play for Chicago Fire under Greg Berhalter.
When Kylian Mbappe is playing for Colorado Rapids,
Ronaldo is getting cryogenically frozen and coming back for DC United. What else was I gonna say? It was something about the team and like multiple professionals, like the New York Islanders had like 2 home arenas for multiple years. Or like I think the Toronto Argonauts, I might be wrong about this. I think they also do the same thing where they have their normal games at BMO Field, but then they play, like, occasionally they would play bigger games at the Rogers Center. I might be completely, totally off the mark about this. I just hit my mic. But I watched a whole video about temporary sports stadiums, and they mentioned that the Argos sometime played at the Rogers Center. So, or the Sky Dome. It is an option. It would be interesting, like, the size of what they would want to go for. Because, like, I would say probably 20 to 30K.
Yeah, I think, like, somewhere... I'd maybe go, like, 20 to 25.
Yeah.
I'm also just a bit of a pessimist on the Whitecaps a lot of the time.
I would think that they would have... in a perfect world, the stadium would be a size of 25 to 30K, because you would want to have some wiggle room, like potentially they have extra seats that they can open up, like an extra stand or something like that. I would hope that would be the case, because, like, I don't know, sometimes there are games where that extra space would be, like, welcome and needed. I don't know, like, I'm trying to think of, like, the highest attendance I've seen at a Caps game, because it was probably like 2,300 or 23,000. 2,300. That's a Wednesday night, but no, 23,000. I think I saw.
It's a VFC game.
VFC. Oh god. They're not playing at Willoughby, which apparently that area is not Willoughby, even though it's called Willoughby Community Park. I don't understand Langley. But yay, new stadium. Maybe they also get the Rise in there as well, because the Rise are playing at Swangard, which is where the Vancouver Whitecaps FC2 play. And I've been there, and it's nice historically, but, like, you probably want a bigger stadium if the Northern Super League is growing a bit, to potentially also make an agreement with them.
Yeah, no, I think in the long run, the hope at least would be that you end up with the Rise and maybe even the Lions there. But I think, like, that's a good time to talk about. Northern Super League's getting started soon. Opening game will be in Vancouver, played not at Swangard but at BC Place, between the Rise and, I believe, Calgary. I should have wrote this down.
I have the schedule. 1 second.
My eternal professionalism, I did not write down who the Rise are playing.
They had, like, schedules and, like, stickers and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
At the game, so I have a sticker, and the schedule has Quinn on it.
Nice.
Legend. They got honored for their 100th cap before the game. They play Calgary. Yes.
Calgary, yes.
Calgary.
On the
16th at 7 p.m.
7 p.m.
Ta-da. They play, other than that, they play at Swangard, which is a nice stadium. Just, like, if they want extra space, then because they only have the one stand, right? So.
Yeah, Swangard seats, like, around 5,000, I want to say.
Around there, yeah.
Maybe a little, yeah.
There's some wiggle room.
Somewhere in that ballpark. Yeah. But yeah, so exciting news for Canadian soccer, having this starting soon. Obviously, brand new league, so we don't know too much of what to expect yet. Any thoughts on what this means for things?
I'm just really excited because, like, I grew up here and there's not a lot of professional women's sports here. So if I wanted to watch them, like, even now, I have to watch, like, streams from the East and stuff like that. Or, like, American streams for the, like, National Women's Soccer League, or streams in, like, Europe. But I don't know. It's going to be cool to see. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for, we've seen how, like, the PWHL has taken off, and now, like, the WNBA is coming to Canada with the Toronto Tempo in a couple years. And now we have the NSL. So, I'm excited. I'm pumped. I think the jerseys are super cool. I think they represent, like, the rise kind of with the sun, how the British Columbia flag looks, which I think is a really cool touch. I think it's going to be a really cool experience to see. I hope to relate this to hockey a bit, I hope this is a push for a women's PWHL team in Vancouver. I've said this multiple times. The Coliseum needs hockey, guys. Please. Apparently, they're making an announcement about expansion teams at some point.
And I'd like to point out, too, on the PWHL's takeover tour, their best attendance of the entire tour was in Vancouver when they sold out Rogers Arena.
Yeah. Yeah.
PWHL. The West demands hockey.
The West demands hockey. And
we do play the sport on the other side of the Rockies, too.
They would probably need, like, a few Western teams to make the travel. Because I think they have, like, an airliner partner now. I believe so. Because I know the NSL does. So it'll be cool to see. Please give us a team. There's 6 teams in the East. Add another team in the East. Move Minnesota to a Western Conference. And then add 5 teams in the West. That's kind of a lot of teams. But you know what? The owner of the PWHL is deferring Shohei Ohtani's contract more. So he can do it. I think it's the same guy. I might be wrong.
Okay. I'm trying to pull up the attendance list for the takeover tour, but I believe I saw this earlier. In terms of needing to add probably another Western team with Vancouver, I think the second best attendance they had was in Edmonton.
Oh. Yeah.
You already have the Canucks-Oilers rivalry.
Yeah, I know Calgary also had, like, I think in the Canadian Women's Hockey League, they had the Calgary Inferno. Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of Calgary people want that team back. Maybe you get somewhere in the middle there. I mean, I'm not saying that because there's a team in Alberta, everyone has to support that, because that's obviously not going to happen. But yeah, I'm trying to think, because Seattle could be an option.
Yep.
I want to say Portland, but I don't know what their hockey arena situation is like. I'm just saying that because I know they have, like, a lot of women's sports history, and also that's where the women's sports bar, the Sports Bra is, I think.
I know the Winterhawks do well, so...
Oh! I forgot junior hockey exists. Yeah, wow, okay. It is an option.
Yeah,
I'm like...
Or, like, not as close to Vancouver, but what about somewhere like Denver?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they also did a takeover tour game there.
I think so.
I feel like they did. Takeover tour attendance per game. Okay, that is not what I wanted to do. Okay. They had 14,018 people in Denver. So apparently a record-setting crowd. Quebec City was sold out. Edmonton was sold out. Detroit also had a bunch of fans. Vancouver had a bunch of fans. Seattle had around 12,000. Yeah. Surpasses 1 million fans all time. That's cool. I cannot find where the concrete numbers are, but I know what you're talking. Oh, okay, never mind. I found the tweet. So, yeah, Vancouver is still the leader with 19,038 in attendance. Yeah. And then it's Quebec City. So that could be an interesting team for an addition in the East. And then, Edmonton, Detroit, Denver, last year's Detroit game, and then Seattle. So.
Okay.
I don't know.
You got some options there.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they want to add a team in California.
Yeah, I feel like that might be something you do once you've done another round of expansion first into more, like, focus on traditional markets first.
Yeah, I think, because they also haven't done, like, the testing with the takeover tour, essentially, in those markets.
Maybe, like, add a couple Western teams, then you can take the takeover tour to more Western destinations. Like, have Vancouver and, let's use Denver as an example, play a game in San Francisco or something.
Yeah, like, have like, an established Western kind of side of things. Like, even if you add, like, 4 West teams...
Yeah.
You could add 4 West teams, Add like Seattle, Edmonton, Vancouver.
Yep.
And Colorado or Denver.
Yep.
Add Minnesota to that, and then you have 10 teams, 5 teams each.
Yeah.
Perfect. Hire me. Like, I got you. Like, Edmonton, they're playing at Rogers Place. I'm declaring that. Vancouver, we got the Coliseum. Seattle, Climate Pledge, I guess. Or you can play in Portland.
Yeah.
One of those two. They're basically the same. Anyway, Denver, you could probably play a Ball Arena. Like, I don't know why I'm negotiating for these teams, but... And then Minnesota, you move to the Western Conference because they're just like that in the NHL. And then you have the Eastern Conference of Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, Boston, New York. There you go. And then you can add Quebec City, you can add, like, California, you can add other teams as you move on. They're going to do, like, a big expansion push like the Canucks, like the NHL did in 1967. This is their next 6. And then they're going to expand further, like the 1970 expansion with the 2 teams, and then more teams.
So what you're saying is the second expansion will come 3 years after the first one, where they had 6 teams, and then everyone who supports the 2 teams that come from the second expansion will be just depressed watching their teams play.
Yeah. Yep. That's just how it goes.
Buffalo or
you know what? It could also be a team in Buffalo in that second expansion.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
That would be great. That would be so funny. Yeah. Anyway.
But yeah, big things come for the Rise this season. Hopefully this can bring the PWHL to Vancouver, and let's just go into our final topic of the day, the Women's World starting soon.
Yes, I have the schedule for Canada in my calendar. So they start 10 a.m. Pacific time on Thursday against Finland. Then on Friday at 6 a.m. Pacific, they play Switzerland. They play the Americans at 10 a.m. Sunday and Czechia 10 a.m. Monday. So PWHL is on an international break, which cool to see. The Women's Worlds, I believe, are in Czechia this year. I need to look that up. Women's. That's not... Okay, I hope... Yep. Yeah, they're from Wednesday, April 9th to Sunday, April 20th. Where are they? Please tell me, Internet.
Czechia.
Thank you, because it was not telling me. Actually, it was telling me. I just can't read. They are in... Oh. Let me try. I apologize. Czechia Budějovice. I don't know Czech. I apologize.
České Budějovice.
České Budějovice. Okay, I was not close, but I tried, and that's what matters. Yeah. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to Czechia for not pronouncing your city right. Yeah. I know Slavic languages. I just haven't studied that one yet.
Oh yeah.
It's fine. It's on my list. I'll get to it. But yeah, it'll be exciting. Go Canada.
Yeah.
I'm excited to turn into a nationalist. Actually, no, a patriot. I messed up. Not, I meant like a patriot. I can't even say I did. I slept like 8 hours last night. I can't even say that. I meant a patriot. I can't wait to be. Go Canada. You know what? I hope we beat the States. We're the better team. I'm not saying anything further. My lawyer has advised me to stop speaking.
For Kaya's legal safety, I think we should begin wrapping up the show now.
Oh my god. Yeah, fair.
Thank you everyone for listening. Please check out at Nux Chronicles on Instagram and Blue Sky. You can check me out at AlexRick03, Alex_Rick03 on Instagram. Kai, where can people find you?
You can find me at Kaja May pretty much everywhere. Just search Kaja May. There's not a lot of us on the internet, so probably find me there. And then also you can find me on Game Over Vancouver.
Yeah. On that note, just thank you everyone for listening, especially avid Chroncast listener Helmet Marco. Have a good week.